Hello, my name is Sophia Lumbo, and I am in Intro to Women's Studies section 16015. And today I will be doing my show and tell presentation. Goodness, sorry. The two items that are personal to me aren't necessarily small items. One of them is this guitar that my father bought for us when I was 16, 17. And the other is a piano that he had bought when I was around 9 or 10, which I will show a picture of right here or right here. I don't know. Basically, growing up, a majority of my life consisted of music. I was very musically inclined. It is very well known that Filipinos are kind of like the kings and queens of karaoke, I would say, or it's just in our blood. My dad loves karaoke. Almost all my family in the Philippines have karaoke machines. My mother also. And being Asian, you also typically have to have some form of art form that you dabble in, whether it's creative arts, martial arts, performance arts, stuff like that. And mine happened to be music. So when I first moved here, when I was 6, I went to Outley Elementary, which is in A-Leaf. And in their curriculum, like specials classes or whatever, in music, we were taught how to play the piano. When I moved, we didn't have as many pianos, I guess, because our school wasn't arts based, they were more sports based. They paid more attention to football. And so I first learned how to play and understand what the piano was when I was 7, 6 or 7. That translated into me wanting to actually take lessons. And so I told my dad about it, and he was like, "Oh yeah, sure, we can give you lessons." So when I was 9 or 10, my dad allowed me to take piano lessons. Soon after, my brother followed, but he didn't really like it. But he's in band now, which is something different. Um, and yeah, it is. That's been a part of my life ever since. I played piano for about 3 or 4 years, around 13, 14, and then I had to stop because I got into band in high school. Um, but I still play occasionally. I still learn songs. I I would say I'm a pretty decent player. I don't necessarily know how to play like really difficult classical music, but I just play for funsies at this point. And yeah, since I am not living at home right now, I will have these little piano videos of me just scattered throughout the screen, and you can see me playing. I'll play some clips for you that sound kind of decent, and yeah. So, one of my personal items is my piano, and it is very important to me because of the story I just told, and also it's just a way for me to exert my capabilities and to express how I feel through music. Um, I have, for funsies, like composed songs before, but not necessarily full songs. I just know how to make certain notes, do certain things. Um, my second personal item is this guitar that my dad bought when I was 16, 17. He wanted to learn how to play guitar, and so he decided to buy an acoustic and an electric guitar. The electric guitar was left-handed though, which he didn't like because he found out he could play right-handed. So that was a weird issue. But I basically picked it up and I started to learn it and play it, and now it's mine. I pretty much self taught myself how to play guitar. I carry it around me sometimes if I feel like jamming with some friends, but I'm not necessarily like good at it. I never took lessons, but the fact that I have it is kind of just me being the typical Asian kid that has instruments. um, it's very It's very personal to me, and I really like it because I actually made a song for my boyfriend on this guitar because I found out it is easier to make songs on the guitar than it is on the piano because you just strum a few chords and then boom, you have a song. I don't necessarily know any songs to play right now, but maybe I'll play for y'all later. But yeah, those are my two personal items that were gifted to me by my father, essentially, and I have kept it, and it is something that I really care about. How they relate to positions of intersectionality and positionality. I believe they relate to to me in terms of positionality because of how I grew up. I was born into a middle class family. My dad had the opportunity to work in the United States and he brought us all over here. So immediately from the get go, I have this opportunity of money and I had the advantage of classism. My dad gave us lessons when we were younger. He also gave us martial arts lessons. So we already had that chance to take lessons because we had the opportunity to do so from our position, from where we stood in America. Um, Another thing that relates to positionality is the expectations for us. As an Asian, a Filipino American woman, we are expected to dive into some form of creative arts. And so to be able to learn something that is outside of the academics that are more extracurricular is considered better in our culture. We have to uphold those expectations that my parents placed on us. When I quit band my junior year, my dad got mad at me. Not really mad, but he was pushing us to do something else other than just school. Like he wanted us to do more. My parents both wanted us to do more, my brother and I. And so we ended up doing martial arts for 2 years. So with that position in mind, we had the opportunity to do those lessons and to learn and reach out more. And with who we are as people and my ethnicity, we are supposed to learn that. We're not just expected to kind of laze around. We have to do those things. My parents were good about it by not being too forcing, but only if we wanted to do it. And we wanted to do it. So, music in terms of intersectionality, especially these two items specifically. Um, for my piano, for instance, it is known as an elitist instrument. It is a field that is predominantly dominated by cis white men and Asians, but it's not known to be more accepting of other people, if that makes sense. It is an elitist instrument and it is for those people who are above in terms of class. So my personal items are intersectional in terms of classism. Um, but those are the cons of that. The positive thing with instruments such as mine and this guitar, such as my piano and this guitar, is that music is also for everyone, despite its history and what people know it as. Um, Anyone can pick up an instrument and play it, granted that they have the opportunity to have that instrument and afford to play it or keep it. And with that ability, they can share their experiences of racism, sexism, classism, all the isms throughout their music. Um, it's getting much better now, as of late, to have artists who are more accepting and more willing to share their kinds of experiences through their music. Um, it's not necessarily my personal items, but like rap. I know a lot of like maybe was it 80s to like early 2000s rap were predominantly about culture and how America did not give a shit about black people. And so with my personal items, people have the opportunity to express themselves with their music, basically. And as racist and classist as, say, my piano could be in certain points of history, overall, both of my personal items can really do a lot in order to spread that kind of the inclusion that we need for everybody and the intersectionality that we need for everybody as well. I realize I didn't mention this in my video, but with music, people are allowed to tell their stories, their experiences, and in doing so will help allow other people to also express themselves in their music as well. It'll bring even more inclusion and more people to connect together and be able to relate to one another rather than just one specific person compared to one specific person. So that's what I would like to interlude. Yeah. Um, I will look up a song for y'all to play, and that will be my ending moment. And when you're needing your